How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Right off the bat, I would like you to raise your hand if you ever participated in an exaggeration of a story to benefit from. No need to be shy. You can raise your hand. For example, telling your boss you was at a light for 10 minutes and that's why you was late. But in reality, you just didn't wake up on time. You probably didn't even know this, but this is a type of lie. But don't worry, lying is just as part of the human experience as breathing. Okay, wait, maybe that was much. But we all been there, from telling a little white lie to spare somebody's feelings, or telling a grim one to cover our tracks. Now, I'm not going to keep calling us liars all night, but talk about the main point of this TED Talk. Can a lie deepen interpersonal connections, or does it not build true interpersonal connections at all? For those who don't know what an interpersonal connection is, it is the invisible line that draws us to one another and understanding each other's feelings. At its core, interpersonal connection is the foundation upon which we build our relationships platonically and romantically. Now, does telling a lie tarnish this relationship, not fulfilling the beautiful natural steps of it? I believe a lie builds an unreal connection, not representing what true interpersonal connection is. When I was a kid, all the kids used to gather around me trying to listen to these haunted tales. I used to tell them that it was about me, and they would keep coming back, and I would keep feeding it to them. And all of a sudden, they called me in a lie. And at the next week, they just stopped talking to me. Now I wondered, why was it? Why was this? Was it because we couldn't stay friends with those kids? Or was it because everything was fake to begin with? Or was it because they thought I would eventually hurt somebody with my lies? Or the most reasonable, they was kids. They got bored and they went to go make new friends. Kids do this. But what is the perception process that makes us understand and feel about these lies? Why do some people react differently to the lies than others? In the book of Communications in the Real World, chapter 2.1, it allowed me to understand the perception process is very complex in 3 steps to understanding information. You select the information that you hear, you organize it, and then you interpret it. The perception process always runs in the back of your mind. That's why when you hear something, you might be looking away, then all of a sudden, huh? What did you say? Can you say that again? We tend to pay attention to information that we perceive to meet our needs and interests in some way. This is why lies are effective in initially skipping relation steps, by feeding the listener what they want to hear, instead of what you truly are. You put on a facade to get closer to that person. You are skipping important steps in a relationship. In the book of Communications of the Real World, chapter 7.1 this time, it gives information on the importance of going through the steps of a relationship. You are skipping the experimental and intensifying stage and going straight into the bonding stage. These 2 stages are very important to building a foundation of a relationship. When skipped, the whole relationship will come crashing down. It's like building 2 of the first floors without no blueprint at all, going off the whim, and then all of a sudden you become an architect for the last bit, the last couple floors. But after a while, it's going to come back. The whole building will come crashing down because of your faulty beginnings. This is why I believe telling a lie builds a facade of a relationship. If people know this, why do they do it? From my source, Dr. Psych, a therapist in psychology, he states that lying is also an essential for surviving and social interactions. After all, who wants to tell their parents or best friend that their meal was not that tasty or edible tonight? Do we want to tell a good lie rather than a painful truth at times? Some might say this is okay. Is it okay not to hurt people's feelings? But are you being true to yourself, or are you hiding underneath the cloak and showing them who you truly are? Are you scared of somebody that's important to you to hold that against you? I guess they'll never know until you tell them the truth. But it gotta be sooner than later. The longer you wait, the digger the hole you deep. And then you can't get past those lies and build an actual, true interpersonal connection. Have you ever heard of the story Rosemary's Dilemma? It's about a lady that's trying to cross the water full of crocodiles to get to her lover, but she couldn't. She had to cheat on her husband for a man to cross the river with her. And then she got married that night. They got married, but then the guilt got to her. She told him the truth, and he banished her. And some people, me and my classmates to be exact, in a discussion, everybody had different takes on who was more acceptable. Was it Rosemary trying to do the right thing and get to her husband? Or was it Hank to banish her because she lied to him? Instead of coming out right off the rip and telling him that she cheated and build a new connection right from there. Personally, to me, Hank was in the right. She skipped the steps in the relationship, which is why it came crashing down on her. In conclusion, The impact of lying on interpersonal connections is profound and multifaceted. While lying may seem like a quick fix to avoid discomfort and repercussions, it can destroy trust, intimacy, and authenticity within a relationship. When one party chooses lies over honesty, it introduces a barrier that stops us from building genuine connections. Trust is the cornerstone of a relationship. It can easily be eroded with dishonesty. Once broken, rebuilding trust becomes an impossible task, often leaving scars that linger long after the deception is revealed. Ultimately, the cost of lying extends beyond the immediate moment, leaving a lasting impact on the quality of depth in the interpersonal relationship. Therefore, fostering open communication built on foundations of trust and honesty is essential to cultivating meaningful connections that withstands the test of time. Only through vulnerability and transparency can we forge and enrich our lives that nourish the souls. It is up to you to whether to choose to sacrifice it all to skip those initial steps or building a genuine interpersonal relationship.